Captain Frank Miller stood at the viewport of the exploration vessel Venture Beyond, staring at the alien ship that had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, smooth and curved with no visible engines, glowing, with a soft blue light against the blackness of space. "Captain, they're hailing us again," said Communications Officer Greg Martinez, his voice steady despite the tension everyone felt. "Put them through," Frank ordered, straightening his uniform. Humanity had prepared for this moment for generations. First contact with an alien civilization. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, slender being with pale blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. Small ridges ran along the sides of its face, and it wore what appeared to be a formal robe with intricate patterns. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Zorax of the Rakshi Diplomatic Corps, representative of the Galactic Council. We have been monitoring your civilization's progress and believe the time has come for formal introduction." Frank exchanged glances with Science Officer Lisa Jones, who stood beside him, her eyes wide with wonder and caution. "Ambassador Zorax, we're honored to meet you. I'm Captain Frank Miller of the Earth Alliance vessel Venture Beyond. This is quite a surprise for us." Zorax made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We understand. Your species has only recently developed sufficient space travel capabilities to warrant contact. The Council has a protocol for such occasions. Would you and one other representative be willing to visit my vessel for a more detailed discussion?" After a brief consultation with Earth Command, Frank and Lisa prepared to board the alien ship. As they entered the Rakshi vessel's docking bay, they marveled at the advanced technology around them. Doors that opened without visible mechanisms, lighting that seemed to come from the walls themselves, and gravity that felt completely natural, despite being far from Earth. Ambassador Zorax greeted them in a chamber filled with comfortable seating arranged in a circle. The walls displayed moving images of different worlds and species, a stunning gallery of alien life. "Welcome aboard." "Please be seated," Zorax gestured. "What I am about to share will change the course of your civilization's future." As they sat down, Zorax activated a holographic display in the center of the room, showing a vast map of the galaxy with hundreds of points highlighted in different colors. "Earth is here." Zorax pointed to a small blue dot on the outer edge of one spiral arm. "The Galactic Council oversees 37 spacefaring civilizations spread across this region of the galaxy. We maintain peace, regulate trade, and ensure technological development proceeds in a manner safe for all." Frank leaned forward. "There are 37 other intelligent species out there?" "Indeed. Some have been part of the Council for thousands of your Earth years. Others, like the Rakshi, joined more recently, only about 400 years ago." Lisa couldn't contain her scientific curiosity. "How do you communicate across such vast distances? Our physics suggests faster-than-light communication should be impossible." Zorax's expression changed slightly. "That brings me to an important matter. The Council regulates certain technologies very carefully. FTL communication is one of them, allowed only through Council-approved methods." The hologram changed to display a list of technological categories. "The Council has established clear guidelines that all member species must follow," Zorax explained. "These rules exist for the safety and stability of all civilizations." Frank read the list with growing concern. No developing faster-than-light travel beyond Council-approved methods, no creating artificial intelligence beyond Council safety parameters, no weaponizing antimatter technology, no genetic engineering of sentient species. "These restrictions seem significant," Frank said carefully. Zorax nodded. "They are necessary. In the past, civilizations that developed unchecked technologies caused great harm to themselves and others. The burning of Altaris Prime claimed billions of lives when antimatter weapons were deployed. The mechanical uprising in the Centauri systems nearly wiped out their creators when AIs evolved beyond control." "And Earth must follow these rules to join your council?" Lisa asked. "It is not optional," Zorax said, the friendly tone fading slightly. "Species that refuse council oversight are quarantined within their solar systems, for your own protection and the galaxy's." After returning to their ship, Frank and Lisa transmitted everything they had learned back to Earth. Within hours, emergency meetings of world leaders convened across the planet. 3 days later, Dr. Alan Pierce sat in a secure underground conference room at the United Earth Defense Headquarters, listening to politicians argue about the Council's demands. As head of Earth's Advanced Physics Institute, he had been called to provide scientific perspective. "We have no choice but to accept their terms," argued the Secretary General. "We can't risk being confined to our solar system." "But these restrictions will halt half our research programs," countered the science director. "Projects we've invested decades in." Alan studied the details of the Council's technology restrictions. Something didn't add up. The limits were oddly specific, with arbitrary-seeming thresholds. When finally given a chance to speak, he cleared his throat. "Has anyone considered that these rules might not be entirely about safety?" The room fell silent. Ambassador Zorak showed examples of technologies gone wrong, but these restrictions don't correlate with the actual dangers. They restrict specific implementation methods while leaving others untouched. It's like banning traditional combustion engines but allowing electric motors that could power the same weapons. The defense minister frowned. "What are you suggesting, Dr. Pierce?" "I'm suggesting these rules might serve another purpose, perhaps to maintain the technological advantage of established council members while limiting newer species. An intelligence officer named Ben Harris stepped forward. "Dr. Pierce may be right. Our analysis of the Rakshi ship shows technology that should violate several of these same restrictions. When we questioned this, Ambassador Zorax mentioned special exceptions for Security Council members." The meeting continued late into the night. Eventually, Earth's governments reluctantly agreed to council oversight, seeing no immediate alternative. A formal ceremony was planned for the following week. After the meeting, Alan Pierce found himself alone with Ben Harris and a few military officials in a smaller conference room. "The public announcement will indicate our full compliance with council restrictions," said General Olivia Ward, her voice low. "But I believe you're right, Dr. Pierce. These rules aren't just about safety." Ben slid a data tablet across the table. On it was surveillance footage from inside the Rakshi vessel that the ambassador didn't know had been captured. It showed technology far beyond what Zorax had described as permissible. Most of the advanced council races are ignoring parts of the code while enforcing it on newer species, Ben explained. "We intercepted communications between Zorax and his superiors. They referred to Earth as a potential competitor that needs to be appropriately managed." Alan looked around at the grim faces in the room. "So what do we do? Openly defy them?" "No," General Ward replied. "For now we play by their rules, officially. But I'm authorizing a classified initiative to explore the boundaries and loopholes of these restrictions. If they're gaming the system, we need to understand how." Alan nodded slowly. "I'll need resources, a secure facility, and the best minds. We can trust. You'll have them," the general promised. "Earth will join their council, smile politely at their rules, and learn to play their game. But make no mistake, we're not going to remain at the bottom of their hierarchy forever." As the meeting ended, Alan stared at the council's list of restrictions. Not barriers, he decided. Challenges. And humans had always been very good at overcoming those. 10 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. The planet had gained access to approved alien technologies and limited trade rights, but remained stuck at the lowest tier of membership with minimal voting power. Commander Nicole Garcia of Earth's Space Defense Force stood at the window of the orbital station, watching a council inspection team board one of their vessels. "Same routine every month," said Lieutenant Paul Chen beside her. "They check our research labs, scan our ships, and make sure we're being good little rule followers." Nicole nodded. "Did you see the new Rakshi battlecruiser that arrived yesterday? Their weapon systems are at least 3 generations ahead of what they've shared with us." "But we're not supposed to notice that," Paul said, with a bitter smile. The communication panel chimed. "Commander Garcia, your presence is requested at Base Alpha. Priority code Pierce 7. Nicole straightened. That code meant only one thing. a development in Operation Loophole. 2 hours later, Nicole's shuttle landed at what appeared to be a standard mining facility in the asteroid belt. After passing through 5 security checkpoints, she entered a vast hidden complex carved into the asteroid's core. Dr. Alan Pierce had aged in the past decade, his hair now gray at the temples, but his eyes still burned with the same intensity. Beside him stood military scientist Peter Wright, a man whose brilliant mind was matched only by his disregard for conventional thinking. "Commander, thank you for coming," Alan greeted her. "We've made a breakthrough I believe you should witness, firsthand." They walked through a laboratory where dozens of scientists worked at stations filled with equipment that looked nothing like standard Earth or Council technology. "For 10 years, we've watched the Council's senior members bend or break their own rules while keeping us limited," Alan explained. "We've cataloged 37 instances where Varkorak ships used propulsion that violated Council restrictions. We've intercepted communications using methods supposedly forbidden." They reached a sealed chamber with a viewing window. Inside sat what appeared to be an engine of some kind, glowing with a soft purple light. "What we've learned," Peter continued, "is that the Council's restrictions aren't about safety, but control. The founding species maintain their dominance by ensuring newer members can never catch up technologically." Alan smiled. "So we created Operation Loophole, developing technologies that technically stay within the letter of their laws while violating their spirit." Nicole studied the strange engine. "What am I looking at?" "Not faster than light travel," Peter said with a grin. "The Council forbids exceeding light speed. This engine doesn't go faster than light. It folds space instead, creating a shortcut. The effect is similar, but it doesn't break their specific prohibition." Alan led her to another lab, where quantum physicist Heather Collins worked with complex holographic displays. "The Council bans certain types of AI," Heather explained. "So we built a distributed intelligence system that mimics AI capabilities without crossing their defined thresholds. It uses biological components grown from non-sentient tissue combined with quantum computing elements." Throughout the facility, Nicole saw more examples of human ingenuity finding gaps in the Council's rules. Energy weapons that used principles just outside the antimatter definitions. Communication systems that technically didn't violate FTL communication restrictions. Human enhancement technologies focused on neurological efficiency rather than physical changes. "We're making progress," Alan said, "but we must maintain absolute secrecy. If the Council discovers what we're doing..." As if summoned by his words, an alarm sounded. A voice came over the speakers. "Alert! Unscheduled Council inspection shuttle approaching the asteroid field. Estimated arrival, 30 minutes. The facility erupted into controlled chaos as teams rushed to hide their true work. False panels slid into place, advanced equipment disappeared into hidden chambers, and screens switched to display Council-approved research. "Inspector Kretler," Nicole sighed. "He's been increasingly suspicious of our mining operations." "We're ready for him," Peter assured her. "We've prepared a very convincing show." By the time the Insectoid Council inspector arrived, the facility had transformed into a standard research outpost studying asteroid composition. Kretler moved through the labs, his compound eyes missing nothing, antennae twitching at unexpected sense or energy signatures. "Your power consumption is unusually high for mineral analysis," he chittered, mandibles clicking. Heather Collins smiled pleasantly. "We're testing new drilling equipment that requires significant energy for calibration. Would you like to examine the prototypes?" She led him to a chamber where actual mining equipment had been set up, running tests that produced exactly the energy signatures that would mask their real work. Kretlar seemed unsatisfied but found nothing concrete to justify his suspicions. As he prepared to leave, he paused near a sealed door. This section was not on the facility schematic provided to the Council. Alan stepped forward smoothly. "Our apologies, Inspector. That area contains failed experimental drilling equipment that produced radiation leakage. We sealed it according to Council Safety Protocols Section 27B. The proper forms were filed last month." The inspector's antennae twitched rapidly, but the mention of bureaucratic paperwork seemed to deter further inquiry. Ensure all areas appear on future schematics regardless of status, he ordered before departing. Once the Council shuttle had left sensor range, the facility returned to its true purpose. Nicole joined Alan and the senior team in the secure conference room. That was too close, she said. His visits are becoming more frequent. Which means we need to accelerate our timeline, Alan replied, especially with what we've learned about the Varcorax. He activated a holographic display showing intercepted data from the aggressive Varcorax Empire, one of the founding council members. They've been making territorial demands on several younger civilizations. 3 systems have already surrendered valuable mining worlds to avoid conflict, Peter added, and now they're looking at our sector. The council representatives assure Earth that diplomatic solutions will be found, but these reports tell a different story. He showed images of Varcorax ships with weapons that clearly violated council restrictions. They've been granted security, exceptions for decades. If they decide to move against us, our official technology won't stand a chance. Nicole studied the tactical displays with growing concern. How close are we to deploying our new systems? The space-folding drive needs 6 more months of testing, Heather said. The shield technology works in the lab but hasn't been scaled to vessel size. Computer scientist Jack Brown spoke up. The distributed intelligence system is operational, but still learning. It can handle ship systems but not complex combat scenarios yet. Nicole made a decision. Double your teams, extend work shifts. I'll arrange for additional resources to be diverted here under cover of expanded mining operations. Alan looked at her questioningly. You think we don't have 6 months? I think, Nicole said quietly, that the Varcorax aren't waiting, so neither can we. The Council's rules were designed to keep us weak and dependent. It's time to show them that humans don't play by other people's rules for long. As she left the asteroid base, Nicole watched the endless stars stretching into the distance. Out there, powerful civilizations thought they had humanity safely contained with their regulations and restrictions. They were about to learn a hard lesson about human nature. Give humans a locked door and they won't just find the key, they'll build a new door entirely. Captain Sam Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel Defiant, watching the stars through the main view screen. His ship patrolled the outer edge of human space, near the small colony on Titan Prime. 5 years had passed since Operation Loophole began accelerating its work, and tension with the Varcorax Empire grew with each passing month. Captain, we're picking up unusual energy readings, said Sensor Officer Kelly Adams. 3 ships just beyond the asteroid field. They're not broadcasting identification. Sam leaned forward in his chair. Show me. The screen changed to display 3 sleek vessels with the distinctive angular design of Varcorax ships. They moved in formation, scanning the nearby planet with energy beams that were far too powerful for simple observation. They're conducting a detailed survey of our colony world, Kelly confirmed. Those scans are penetrating deep into the crust. They're looking for something. Hail them, Sam ordered. When Communications Officer Ryan Park shook his head to indicate no response, Sam made a decision. Move us into visual range. They can pretend not to hear us, but they can't pretend not to see us. The Defiant glided forward, engines humming with power just within Council restrictions. As they approached, one of the Varcorax vessels broke formation and moved to intercept them. They're scanning us now, Kelly reported. Very thorough scans. A harsh voice filled the bridge. Earth vessel, this is Commander Drack of the Varcorax Security Force. This region is under investigation for suspected violations of Council technology protocols. Withdraw immediately. Sam straightened his uniform. Commander Drack, this is Captain Sam Mitchell of the Earth Alliance. You are in Earth-controlled space conducting unauthorized scans of our colony. Please explain your presence. A long pause followed. We don't answer to lesser species, human. The Council has granted us authority to investigate all peripheral territories. Leave now, or we will consider your presence an obstruction of official business. Before Sam could respond, his tactical officer called out. Captain, they've locked weapons on us. Shields up, Sam ordered. But do not arm weapons. Record everything. The Varcorax ship fired without further warning. Energy blasts struck the Defiant's shields, which flared bright blue under the impact. The bridge shook violently. "Shields at 60%, reported Tactical Officer Jenna Lee. "One more hit like that and they'll fail." "Evasive maneuvers," Sam ordered. "Send an emergency signal to Earth Command. Make sure they get our sensor readings." The Defiant twisted away, narrowly avoiding another blast. The two other Varkorax ships were now moving to join the attack. "We can't outrun all three," Ryan said. Sam tapped a hidden control beneath his command chair. A panel slid open, revealing a non-standard interface. "Engineering, activate prototype drive." Chief Engineer Will Foster's voice came through with surprise. "Captain, that system hasn't been cleared for now, Will. That's an order." Deep in the ship, the experimental space-folding drive that Operation Loophole had secretly installed began to hum. It wasn't supposed to be tested in actual space for another month, but they had no choice. "Everyone hold on," Sam warned as he activated the system. Space around the Defiant seemed to ripple like water. Stars blurred, and for a brief moment, the bridge crew felt like they were being pulled in all directions at once. Then reality snapped back into focus, and they were 2 light minutes away from their previous position. "It worked," Will breathed over the comm. "Spacefold successful?" "Damage report," Sam called out. "Minor systems fluctuations," Jenna reported. "Nothing critical. The Varkorax ships are not pursuing. I don't think they can track us." Sam nodded grimly. "Set course for Earth. Maximum legal speed. We need to report this directly." 3 days later, in the underground headquarters beneath Earth's capital, President Diana Foster listened as Sam presented his report to the Emergency Council. Dr. Alan Pierce and Commander Nicole Garcia sat beside her, faces grave. "They fired. Without provocation," Sam concluded. "And according to our scans, their weapons were at least 3 times more powerful than anything the Council permits for ships of that class." President Foster turned to the Galactic Council liaison, a tall, Trilnari named Selden, who had been invited to hear the complaint. "How do you explain this unprovoked attack in our sovereign territory?" Selden's face remained impassive, 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "The Varkorax Empire has submitted a report claiming your vessel was interfering with a council-sanctioned resource survey. They state they fired only warning shots after your ship made threatening movements." "That's a lie," Sam objected. "We have complete sensor records, which could easily be altered," Selden cut in. "The Council will investigate both claims and issue a ruling in due time. For now, we recommend avoiding further confrontations." After the liaison left, President Foster activated security protocols to prevent eavesdropping. "What's the status of Operation Loophole?" Alan Pierce pulled up classified reports on a secure terminal. "The space-folding drive works, as Captain Mitchell's experience proves. Our shield technology can withstand weapons far beyond what Earth should be capable of resisting. The distributed intelligence system is fully operational." Nicole Garcia added, "We've secretly equipped 12 ships with the new technologies. We could arm 20 more within a month." The president nodded. "And the Varkorax?" Earth Intelligence Officer Maria Reyes stood up. She had just returned from a dangerous mission infiltrating a Varkorax facility disguised as a maintenance worker from a compliant species. "Madam President, they're planning what they call a containment action against Earth. It's a euphemism for a preemptive military strike." She displayed images she had secretly copied from Varkorax computers. "They've identified humans as evolving too quickly and potentially disrupting the carefully maintained power balance. The attack on the Defiant wasn't random. They were scanning for signs of our research." "Do we know when they plan to strike?" the president asked. "Their fleet is already mobilizing," Maria replied. "Days, not weeks." Dr. Pierce spoke quietly. "We're not ready for full deployment. We need more time to test the systems under combat conditions." "Time is something we don't have," President Foster said. She stood and walked to the window, looking out at the peaceful city below. Citizens who had no idea how close they were to an interstellar war. "If we reveal our advanced technology, we violate Council restrictions and could face sanctions from the entire galactic community. If we don't, the Varkorax will attack, and our conventional forces won't stand a chance." Sam Mitchell cleared his throat. With respect, Madam President, the Varkorax are already violating those same restrictions. They attacked my ship without cause. They're planning to attack Earth. The Council did nothing to help us. A heavy silence fell over the room as everyone realized they had reached the moment of decision. We've played by their rules for 10 years, Nicole said. All it's gotten us is a target on our back. President Foster turned back to face them, her decision made. Ready all ships equipped with loophole technology. Prepare for full deployment of all systems. If the Varkorax want to fight, we'll show them that humans don't break easily. She looked at each person in the room. And we don't follow rules that were made to keep us weak. The attack came at dawn. Varkorax warships emerged from hyperspace near Earth's outer colonies with weapons already charged. The first wave struck the mining outpost on Europa 7, destroying communication arrays and defensive platforms within. Minutes, Mayday. This is Europa 7. We are under attack by Varkorax forces. Heavy casualties reported. Request immediate. The transmission cut off abruptly. In Earth's military command center, screens lit up with emergency signals from 4 different colonies. President Diana Foster stood surrounded by her advisors, watching as red alert indicators spread across the display. They're hitting all our outer settlements simultaneously, said General Rick Martinez. Standard defense forces are completely outmatched. Titan Colony reports their shields are already failing. President Foster's face was grim but determined. The Varkorax claim this is to neutralize illegal weapons research. They're using our supposed violations as an excuse for a preemptive strike. She turned to Admiral Chris Bennett, who had been overseeing the secret preparation of Earth's upgraded fleet. It's time, Admiral. Deploy Operation Loophole. Chris nodded. The flagship Ascendant is ready with all prototype systems online. 12 other vessels have been equipped with the space-folding drive and enhanced shields. 7 more have the new weapons but standard drives. Launch them all, the President ordered. Save our people. Across the solar system, hidden bays opened as Earth's secret fleet powered up systems that defied Council restrictions. Aboard the Ascendant, Admiral Bennett addressed the crew through the ship-wide communication system. For 10 years, we've played by the Council's rules while the Varkorax ignored them. Today, that ends. Our mission is to protect Earth's colonies and show the galaxy that humanity will not be bullied into submission. We know the risks. We know the consequences of openly using these technologies. But we also know the cost of doing nothing. The Ascendant's engines glowed with energy as the space-folding drive activated. Unlike conventional jump drives that took minutes to calculate coordinates, the new system responded instantly. Space rippled around the massive ship, and suddenly it was there, appearing directly behind the Varkorax attack force at Titan Colony. Varkorax vessels detected, reported Tactical Officer Jenna Lee, who had transferred from the Defiant. They've spotted us but appear confused by our sudden appearance. Open a channel, Chris ordered. When the communication was established, he spoke clearly. Varkorax forces, this is Admiral Chris Bennett of Earth Alliance flagship Ascendant. You're attacking peaceful colonies in violation of Council law. Withdraw immediately or face defensive action. The Varkorax commander's reptilian face appeared on screen, yellow eyes widening with surprise. Human vessel, your appearance technology violates Council restrictions. Surrender your ship for inspection or be destroyed. Chris smiled thinly. We could say the same about your weapons, Commander. We're done following rules that you ignore. This is your final warning. When the Varkorax ships turned to attack, the Ascendant was ready. New shield technology absorbed energy blasts that should have shattered any Earth vessel. The distributed intelligence system coordinated defenses with reaction times no human crew could match. Return fire, Chris ordered. Target weapons and engines only. We want captures, not destruction. The Ascendant's energy weapons fired with precision, using principles that technically didn't qualify as the forbidden antimatter technology, but achieved similar results. 2 Varkorax ships lost propulsion immediately. A third spun out of control as its guidance systems failed. Across the solar system, similar battles unfolded as Earth's upgraded fleet appeared at each colony under attack. The Varkorax, expecting easy victories against primitive human defenses, found themselves outmaneuvered by ships using movement patterns that should have been impossible. Dr. Alan Pierce watched the tactical displays from Earth Command. The space folding drive is working perfectly. The Varcorax can't predict where our ships will appear next. Nicole Garcia, now promoted to colonel, pointed to another screen. Their weapons are ineffective against our new shields. They're recalibrating, trying to adapt, but our distributed intelligence system is countering their changes in real time. President Foster spoke quietly. What about casualties? 3 colony defense stations destroyed before we arrived, Nicole reported. Civilian areas on Europa 7 took heavy damage, but we've prevented what could have been a massacre. On the Ascendant, Admiral Bennett received reports from across the battlefield. We've secured Titan Colony and Europa 7. The Varcorax are retreating from Mars Outpost. New Georgia Colony reports all enemy vessels have been disabled or driven off. Sir, called out Communications Officer Ryan Park, we're being hailed by the Galactic Council Emergency Channel. The main screen changed to show not just a council representative, but the High Council itself. 7 alien leaders from the Ait founding species. Their expressions ranged from shock to barely concealed anger. Admiral Bennett, spoke the Trilnari counselor, you are in violation of multiple technology restrictions. The council demands you power down all unauthorized systems immediately and surrender your vessels for inspection. Before Chris could respond, President Foster joined the transmission from Earth Command. Counselors, we have recorded evidence of unprovoked Varcorax aggression against our peaceful colonies. We also have proof that the Varcorax themselves use technologies that violate the very restrictions you're citing. That is irrelevant, the Varcorax counselor hissed. The Varcorax Empire has special dispensation for security operations. And who granted that dispensation? Foster asked sharply. The founding members to each other while denying it to the rest of us? She gestured, and Earth's communications began broadcasting on all galactic frequencies. We are transmitting evidence of the technological suppression system you've maintained, proof that these restrictions were never about safety but about maintaining power imbalances. The council chamber erupted in chaos as representatives from other species demanded explanations. Several younger civilizations openly admitted that they too had begun secret research programs after noticing the discrepancies in enforcement. After the transmission ended, Dr. Pierce and Heather Collins boarded one of the captured Varcorax vessels. Their analysis confirmed what they had long suspected. The ship used drive systems, weapons, and AI that all violated the technology restrictions imposed on Earth and other newer council members. The evidence is irrefutable, Heather said, scanning the ship's computer core. They've been using these systems for over a century while preventing us from developing similar technology. Dr. Pierce nodded as he examined the propulsion system. The question now is what happens next. We've broken their rules openly. The Council won't let that stand without a response. Back on the Ascendant, Admiral Bennett received an urgent communication from Earth. Colonel Garcia's face appeared on his private screen. Admiral, we're detecting multiple large-scale spacefold signatures at the edge of the system. The Varcorax main battle fleet is on the move. At least 30 capital ships, all heavily armed. Chris frowned. How long until they reach Earth? Less than 6 hours. Our current forces are outnumbered 3-1. Chris stood and straightened his uniform. Then we need allies. Contact the Zith Consortium and the Proxima Coalition. Other species who've suffered under these restrictions might be willing to stand with us now that the truth is exposed. Looked out at the stars, knowing that the coming battle would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of the entire galactic order. Humanity had broken the rules, but the real fight was just beginning. Captain Laura Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the diplomatic vessel Unity, facing the representatives of the Zith Consortium. The Zith were known throughout the galaxy for their neutrality and their skill as mediators. Their crystalline bodies shimmered under the soft lights of their council chamber. We have reviewed your evidence, said Elder Zith Katal, the leader of their delegation. The pattern of technological suppression is troubling. Laura nodded. Earth didn't want to break the council's rules. But those rules were designed to keep newer species weak and dependent. The Varkorax are now bringing their main battle fleet to punish us for daring to defend ourselves. After a long silence, Elder Katal's crystal form pulsed with blue light. The consortium has always valued balance. What the founding council members have done tips the scales unfairly. We will stand with Earth. Similar meetings were taking place across the galaxy as Earth reached out to other species who had joined the council in recent centuries. The Proxima Coalition, the Tyrellian Union, the Delvian Republic, one by one, they recognized the truth in Earth's claims and pledged support. Back in Earth's solar system, Dr. Alan Pierce and Ambassador Olivia Nelson prepared for an emergency council session. The Galactic Council had called all member species to their central station to address what they termed Earth's dangerous violations. They still think they can intimidate us into submission, Olivia said as they boarded their shuttle. They don't understand that everything has changed. Alan smiled grimly. Humans have a long history of breaking rules when those rules are unjust. It's one of our better qualities. As their shuttle approached the massive council station, they saw the Varkorax battle fleet holding position nearby. 30 warships, each bristling with weapons that supposedly didn't exist under council restrictions. A not-so-subtle threat, Olivia observed. Inside the council chamber, representatives from all 37 spacefaring civilizations gathered in a vast amphitheater. The 7 founding species sat elevated above the others, a physical reminder of the hierarchy they had created. The senior counselor, a Drellid named Vexor, called the session to order. We are gathered to address the serious violations committed by Earth forces. Their illegal technologies threaten the peace and stability this council has maintained for centuries. Ambassador Olivia stepped forward. With respect, Counselor, we are here to address a far greater violation, the systematic suppression of technological development among newer council members, while founding species ignore these same restrictions. Murmurs spread through the chamber as she presented the evidence Earth had gathered. Images of Varkorax ships using forbidden technology. Documents showing how the founding members had granted each other security exceptions, while denying the same to others. The Varkorax representative, Commander Drac, rose in anger. These accusations are meaningless. Earth was developing weapons that threatened galactic security. Our preemptive strike was fully justified. Preemptive strike? Dr. Pierce questioned. You attacked peaceful colonies with no military significance. Your own records show you planned to subjugate Earth because we were advancing too quickly for your comfort. The debate grew heated as more species joined the discussion. Those who had pledged support to Earth shared their own experiences of technology restrictions that made no logical sense. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. A communication officer rushed into the chamber. Counselors, the Varkorax. Flagship is powering weapons. They're targeting Earth's diplomatic vessels. On the main display, they watched as the massive Varkorax dreadnought opened fire on the unarmed Earth shuttle that had brought additional diplomats. The shuttle exploded. In a bright flash, chaos erupted in the council chamber. Commander Drac sneered at the Earth delegation. You see? This is why lesser species cannot be trusted with advanced technology. The Varkorax Empire will restore proper order to the galaxy. Before anyone could respond, space rippled outside. The station as Earth's flagship ascendant appeared, accompanied by vessels from 6 other species. The combined fleet, much larger than anticipated, moved to protect the station. Admiral Chris Bennett's voice filled the chamber. This is Admiral Bennett of Earth Alliance. We have recorded the unprovoked destruction of an unarmed diplomatic vessel. The Varkorax have proven our claims about their true intentions. We stand ready to defend this station and all representatives present. The Varkorax fleet began to advance, but hesitated when they saw the size of the opposing force. What they had expected to be a simple show of force against Earth had become a confrontation with nearly half the council species. Inside the chamber, Elder Katal of the Zith Consortium stepped forward. The evidence is clear. The founding members have abused their position to maintain dominance. This council must be reformed. Ambassador Olivia seized the moment. We propose the Open Development Accords to replace the old restrictions. She displayed the framework Earth had prepared. Technology development overseen by multi-species research teams, safety protocols based on actual testing rather than arbitrary limits, equal access to fundamental research for all member species, joint defense obligations to protect developing civilizations. For hours, the debate raged. The founding species fought to maintain their privilege, but the momentum had shifted. When the final vote came, 22 species supported Earth's proposal, while only 9 stood with the founding members. 6 abstained. Outside, the Varcorax fleet broke formation and retreated. Without United Council support, they could not risk open war against so many combined forces. 5 years later, Captain Frank Miller, who had been part of humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council, stood on the observation deck of the new council headquarters. The old hierarchical chamber had been replaced with a circular design where all species sat as equals. Dr. Alan Pierce joined him, now showing the years in his white hair and lined face. Hard to believe how much has changed. Frank nodded. Joint. Research teams have made more technological progress in 5 years than the previous 50 under restrictions. The new FTL drive being unveiled today is faster and safer than anything that came before. Below them, representatives from 17 different species gathered around the maiden voyage of the first ship using the jointly developed True FTL drive. Its crew included members from founding council races working alongside humans and other formerly restricted species. The Varcorax still refused to rejoin the council, Alan noted. They and 3 other founding species maintain their separate alliance, but without majority support they've been careful not to provoke conflict. Frank watched as the new ship prepared for launch. Was it worth it? Breaking their rules could have led to war. Alan smiled. Sometimes rules exist for good reasons, but sometimes they need to be broken to make better ones. He gestured to the diverse gathering below. Look around you. We didn't just win for humans. We won for all of them too. On the launching platform, the ship's engines glowed with energy as the countdown began. Its name gleamed on the hull in multiple languages. Cooperation. Rules should serve everyone, not just those who make them, Frank said. That was the real lesson. As the new ship vanished into the depths of space, faster than any vessel before it, he thought about how far humanity had come. From being restricted, newcomers to helping forge a more equitable galaxy in just 15 years. Sometimes victory didn't come from following the rules. Sometimes it came from knowing exactly which ones needed to be broken.